I'm starting it. Okay, we are live now, but what we're going to do first is wait for it to come up on my cell phone, and because I'm subscribed, so it should come up, and it's not coming up yet, so nobody's going to be able to find us. That's weird. Wait, okay, I got it. Hit play. And yeah, I've got it. We've got one other person in the chat, so just give me a minute. I will send the link to Barb. And folks, just give us a minute. We're trying to make sure everybody has a way to find us. Okay, now, Larry's back with us. And you need to know that if you ever can't find us on YouTube, if you go to nicholslive.com, you will be able to find us. The link we're going to make sure that the website has the link. So let me turn on the microphone, Larry, and all right, you are live.
All right, thanks, Mary Ellen. Folks, I've been busy all week, and there's good news to tell. First off, let me say it's Monday, May the 13th. And I want to thank a few special people. I'm not going to say their names, but a few special people have gone far beyond help, to really help, to make some things come to pass that needed to happen. First off, let me deal with what's going on in the stock market, because people are going nuts. I know. President Trump is doing the right thing with China, but it's making the people in the market very nervous. This day has to come with China, or it's never going to come. President Trump is doing what must be done. China has raped this country over and over again with jobs, money, and especially with patents. And they take intellectual properties, which is supposed to be honored by them according to the trade agreement that we had, and they just totally ignore it. So what you're seeing is President Trump doing his part to make it right. And to the people that are panicking on the stock market, hold on. China can't win at this game. They can't. But they're going to try, and they're going to try to weaken the heart and the will of the American people. They're going to try to scare the American people so that the American people will force President Trump to back down. But let's hope he doesn't. And I know there are some big companies that are taking a hit. I know that. But before you feel sorry for these big corporations that seemingly are being ruled down, you need to think about the millions and millions of Americans, American workers, that they have no compassion for, no compassion for them and their families, or actually for the economy of this nation. All they were ever concerned about was their profits. So stay behind Trump. Stay with him. At the same time, I believe they are a major player in getting Tim John to have back up part of his vote. All designed to put pressure on President Trump. They have made the decision that Trump has to go. Folks, Trump has to stay. He has to stay. For the first time, we have a president, and you're seeing one that's fighting for the American people. For the first
To Trump?
Obama, excuse me. President Obama. President Obama and Vice President Joe Biden at the time, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, of course, they were the ones that started, gave the initial signatures so that our FBI, so that our intelligence community could start this sinister project. And for the next few months, documents and evidence are going to surface. And they're going to prove beyond any shadow of any doubt the complicitness of all of these people. They're going to show you the crimes and how they committed. We know the why, but it's the how that you've got to yet see. Some people call it connecting the dots. Well, the dots are going to have to be connected. Now you may say or wonder, why am I telling you that this stuff is going to start leaking out so speedily? And coming out every week or so, a new piece of evidence showing someone else or the operation, how it worked and who was involved. The reason is if all of the evidence were put in a case and brought before a judge, there's a risk that a federal judge would seal with a gag order on everything that Attorney General Barr has. And with that gag order, that would give them the ability to hide the truth and keep taking pot shots at Barr, making allegations as to his being in the tank for Trump. This way, the courts have no ability to silence the truth coming out. Now you got to say also, why do it this way? It's because the election is, as I have told you, it will be. This election is all about soft base. I've talked about it. We've talked about it. You're probably sick of hearing about it, but you better not be. Because this is the truth. This election is about Trump's soft base. How do we keep them motivated? How can we keep them feeling the pressure to go vote? And that's all of the stuff that's going to be brought out. Well, hopefully, as Trump's soft base sees what actually was going on and actually realize how close we were and still are to losing our country, hopefully, it will be enough to compel them no matter what in November of 2020 come out and vote. Now, I assure you, it's going to be a rough ride. Very rough. An extremely rough ride. The Democrats, the progressives, the people trying to take over our nation, thus far are and have been successful at weaponizing our legal system. They use it just like they do the media. They use it just like they do with a pen and a pencil. They just put down what they want. And the legal justice department backs them up. We have to take it back. And between now and election time, judicial system. And when I say that, I'm speaking primarily of federal judges, federal prosecutors. The chances of getting those things converted, those seats, those positions, won't happen. We can expect from now until November 2020 that those positions will be held by people with the progressive movement that want to change our form of government. So watch for these things. Use them. Don't use movies. Don't use conspiracy theories. Use what comes out that is real. That's documented. That's provable. And make sure the soft base, your friends, your neighbors, in some cases, the people of like mind with you, make sure they understand they've got to vote in 2020 or we will lose it all. Now I want at this time to open up for questions. Anybody has any? As y'all can hear, I'm still puny. And I'm doing the best I can to be here with you.
Okay.
If you have any questions or comments?
What? David asked if we still need business cards. We ordered 250 business cards this morning. They're glossy black with the logo on one side, and on the back it says t-shirts can be ordered at nicholslive.com, and that's in silver. If you, David, would contact me at 240-499-6729, I'll type that in the live chat. Call me about it, and we probably should get some more. All right, so we do have one question, Larry. Why isn't Alex?
Let me say this to David. David, I think you're the person that I just signed the book for you this morning. So you'll be getting an autographed book, and thank you for your support, buddy. Thank you. Now, what's the question?
Why isn't Alex Jones talking about any of this? Does he know?
No. Matter of fact, y'all are the only ones that do know. I guess you're the only ones that know.
Well, I heard an interview today with Stu Webb, and he says 1 million followers. He was expressing frustration, and I'm taking up some time before the next question comes in. He was expressing real frustration at what he doesn't think Trump is doing. He's worried that Trump is turning and siding with the deep state and making promises and not keeping them. And I was really sad about that.
Incredible source to listen to.
Pardon me?
He's not a credible source to listen to. Number two, he does not have a million followers. But I wouldn't sweat what Stu Webb says.
Okay. Well, and who the interview was between two people that I was questioning as to their correct information versus disinformation. So, all right, we do have one question. Will the oil ships burning in the Gulf, is Iran a true threat to us?
Well, Iran is a true threat for the very reason it's always been a true threat. Iran wants to blow Israel off of the face of the earth. And Iran wants to taunt us, America, into a fight so that it can cause, hopefully they think, the other Muslim nations, all over the nations of Islam out there, to side with them in a jihad, unified against America and Israel. It's that potential. It's the fact that unless we So you better watch it with interest. You better be concerned. And you better pray that President Trump makes the right moves. And I think he will. Anybody else?
With the increasing number of Muslims in this country who are now running for office, we've seen pockets of their population growing to the point that they're getting more and more aggressive and making more and more demands, which is, I've seen the progression. When there's this many, this is what they do, and when they get this big, this is what they're doing, and we're watching them follow that progression. And I know people have growing alarm over this. Is there any way you can tell us anything about what's coming with the Muslim situation?
I can tell you exactly what's coming with the Muslim situation. You see, followers of Islam want to get control of our government so that they can change our laws to that of Sharia. No other religious group, if they were to get into Congress, pose the threat to our way of life, the way the Muslims do. Most all other forms of religion, they may want to get the power, but they want America to be America. That's what gives them the ability to gain power and try to get it. But you have to watch Islam. You have to watch Muslims. The more people they put in to our Congress, and they know Congress shall make all laws. And they fully intend to get a foothold in Washington to the point to where they can the first step will be to get Sharia law accepted as a legal system in America. Not necessarily the world, our form of government, but for it to at least, our Constitution, for it to be recognized in our courts. That's what they'll go for first. They're going to try to say, we're not a threat, we're not doing anything that has to do with Muslims. You have to deal with it under Sharia law, not under your constitutional law. Once they get that foothold, then they fully intend to take it the rest of the way and transform our constitutional form of law to Sharia. It's their desire to transform our way of life, our form of government. It benefits, in the beginning, the progressives. The progressives want to change our form of government. And they shouldn't be afraid of the Muslims. But they're not. They think they can use the Muslims to help destabilize our form of government. And then they'll take it over. And then they fully expect to put Islam and Muslims down. In either case, it's not good for us. It's not good at all. And then when you get Muslims in Washington, like the one, whatever her name is, I can't pronounce it, don't want to pronounce it, to constantly put names in to Israel, our relationship with Israel. That's not good. It's not good at all. Right now, the Israeli people, the Jewish people, know they've got a friend in the United States of America, and they know they have a friendly leader in President Trump. So when they start getting afraid that we might be turning, we might not support them any longer, what they'll do is scary. They would be forced in that situation to to make connection with some other country to help protect them. And that's not good, folks. It's not what we want. As long as we have a strong Israel in the Middle East, the chances of us losing the Middle East totally are slim. But the next, if there is another world war, if there is to be a nuclear war to come, most everyone knows that it will start in the Middle East. And I assure you folks, you do not want that day to ever come, ever. And what's scarier still is you have Iran and other Islamic leaders that are willing to sell or otherwise assist terrorist groups in becoming nuclear. The good news is, right now, they're not in a position, they're not at the stage of, they're not at a stage of their development that the nuclear weapons that they could provide to a terrorist group really aren't practical. But they're working to miniaturize them. And as they miniaturize them, the threat becomes greater. Anything else?
Let's see. It says, too bad the Iranian people won't unite against the religious zealots and choose peace.
Yes, it is. But to all that think, now this is my opinion, all right? It's just my opinion. People that believe that one day the Iranian people would rise up and throw the Ayatollah and his regime out. I don't think that will happen. I just don't. Now, no, they don't like, I'm sure, being oppressed. They don't like being in the shape they're in within their country. But you have to remember also, they don't know another way to live. That their faith doesn't provide them with a way to know that there's really something better. It's just the way it's meant to be. And so I don't think they're going to rise up. I, like everybody, wish that day could come. But I have to be honest with you, and I just don't think it will. It's a nice dream, but it's a dream nonetheless. Anyone else, Mary Ellen?
Not right now. I'm going to ask everybody to hit the like button because that will help us get the word out to people that we're still here. And make sure you're subscribed. I'm sorry, we're being censored a little bit because I did have an announcement I put up last Friday that we were going to do the show today. And I didn't even get my notification about it. And but please know that I will send the link to nicholslive.com so that you can get here as soon as we go live, as long as, you know, when I'm using Google Hangouts, then the Google link I've got is for Hangouts, not for the website. So anybody who's technically savvy and can help me learn a little bit more than what I'm doing, please contact me. Have you heard anything about the threat to the Indy 500 Memorial Weekend?
No, I have not.
What
I have not.
What do you expect to happen in America when you say it's going to get rough?
I'm talking about the campaign. I'm talking about the tricks that the Democrats and the progressives are going to use to try to hurt Trump in this campaign. You know, finally, there was a Democratic congressman, I don't know his name, but he's awfully ugly, whatever his name is. And he is actually on camera saying that the only way they're going to beat Trump is to have impeachment. He literally said it. So you got to give him brownie points for telling the truth. I'm sure Pelosi and Schumer and them didn't like it, but it is the truth. They really believe. They believe that the only way they're going to stop Trump being reelected is through the impeachment process, and to cause the American people to rally, to want to cause for them to be able to pull off an impeachment, to even call it and not look ridiculous. They have got to dig up any and everything that they can. Any and everything. You know, I called a segment this morning, and it was from somebody that was on Bookman apparently last night. And he actually was the first person I've heard that actually explained it right. You know, our founding fathers, they knew what we're going to do now because they went through it. You see, the king in those days had a system. If he didn't like you, then they would twiddle with the laws, kind of like investigate you until they found something. He would order his people. He would find something, and when they found something, then they got rid of an enemy or somebody they didn't like. And so they gave us, I think he said, the Fourth Amendment. Don't hold me to that. That's just, I think, what he said. That's why our founding fathers put together the Fourth Amendment, because they wanted to prevent this from ever happening in this country ever again. They didn't want to live like that anymore. What they're doing to Trump is they didn't find anything there, so they go back 10 years. If they don't find anything there, they go back 10 more years. If they don't find anything there, go back 10 more years. There's got to be some time in Trump's past life that he did something that they can use as grounds, at least prima facie, to have an impeachment hearing. And that's what they're doing, and that is totally outside of the rule of law. You know, just like you hear them say it, and I know people don't pay any attention to it, but you know what Nadler and they were doing, trying to force the Attorney General, they're trying to force him to turn over unredacted grand jury material. Folks, they're not just making words, they're not just making this up. That means that for the first time you have our Congress demanding that our Attorney General break the law. It's unheard of. Heard of four before now. That would be considered preposterous. But they're doing it. They're doing it right now. Right now. And we're at the mercy right now of the federal court system. Because it will go to court. It will go to a big court that's rigged with federal judges that are progressives. And I don't know that they will actually support the law. The law says they should throw it out. Can't happen. But these days you can't be sure of that. Anybody else feel?
Yeah. Wait a second. Is the deep state using weather warfare to shake down countries?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, here's
Can't comment because totally truly these people, I don't
Okay, here's something has got to give. People are getting sick of all the impeachment talk, especially when there's no impeachable offense. Isn't there a 20-year rule for this kind of thing?
Well, the problem is people can lose their patience. We can. We can all lose our patience. Someone's got to give. You're right. Something has to give. I don't know what that is. I've told you for some time. Folks, we're close to exploding. My God, you've got the border. What's going on there? You've got Congress totally abrogating, not doing their job. Just totally Congress committed to trying, at least the House, trying to get Trump some way, somehow, foregoing any of their constitutional duties. They're just going after trying to get Trump. The coup, as I've told you, is still going on. It's not over. The good news is the military stands solidly and firmly behind Trump. If the military were not 100% behind Trump, I promise you this, if they were not 1,000,000% behind Trump, I believe that the Democrats, the Congress, they would go to a traditional coup and try to get the military overthrown. But they can't because he has the support. Something's got to give. I don't know what it is, but we're close. And let's just hope that we avoid that day as long as we can. We're better than this. It doesn't have to be this way. The problem is our side, our people, we're not as loud. We're not as bold. We're not as aggressive as the 2% on the other side that love to make scenes and cause anarchy. And with the media in the shape it's in, that 2% has a huge platform. We don't. Anything else, Mariana?
Sorry, it keeps going away on me. Hang on, it just keeps going away. Let's see. Why can't the military protect the border?
Partly because of Washington got us. And the president has to have the cooperation of the governors so that the National Guard can be called in to augment the Border Patrol. And in some states, in some parts along the border, the governors are part of the Democratic hierarchy and they refuse to allow their guard units, their military, to be used on the border. But I do believe one day it's coming when Trump closes the border, 100% shuts it down. The military will get involved. I promise you that.
So is he going to have to declare martial law to do that?
No.
They'll just be there to protect. Will he have to declare war?
No.
Okay.
What he will have to do, my opinion, folks, this is my opinion. What will be involved will be a presidential executive order because of a state of crisis, national crisis, which does give him the permission to activate the military. It does, under certain criteria. And that's why he's got 2 moves that he must make first and have those moves shut down. When those moves are shut down, then he will have the standards met for him to be able to use an executive order.
Thank you.
And by the way, no doubt, when he does use an executive order, it will be challenged instantly
Then what?
Then he will just have to do what he has to do. He will just, to be honest, let it'll go down as he'll sign the executive order and the troops in. The courts will say you can't do it, we'll put him to stay on it, and you deny that stay and be held in contempt. But there's never been a case when the president has been held in contempt, so I don't think anybody knows the net result of such a situation. But I do know this. In that day, if it comes, just to be quite brutal, who's going to stop him?
Especially if the military's with him.
That's right. That's right. Who can stop him then? And that's why I say that will be the constitutional crisis. You know, we're dealing in areas, folks, we're dealing in areas of government that we have never even dreamed would come to pass in this country. We never even dreamt of a situation like the one we're in. Never. Because of that, there's not just a whole bunch of contingency plans ready to go. It's never happened before. But it's sure happening now.
Okay, here's somebody who lives 6 miles from the border in California. She's wondering if it's safe for her to stay there.
What?
Somebody lives 6 miles from the border in California. She's wondering if it is safe for her to stay there. I assume she's asking, should she move?
Not yet, I wouldn't think. Not yet. No, ma'am, or no, sir. We're not there yet.
Okay. All right, here's a comment. It almost sounds like the government has to be shut down and all Congress sent home. The government just doesn't work with these progressives, rhinos, and leftists.
Well, that is the exact argument that you just described, listener. That is the basis upon which the progressives want us to be. That's the situation they want us to be in, because then they can claim we've got to have a new form of government because our present form of government just doesn't work anymore. That's their goal. And I think y'all can see that they are accomplishing their goal. But they have their goal, which they're working to accomplish. That's why it's so important that we have President Trump as our commander-in-chief.
Okay, one more question.
We gotta fight, folks. We gotta fight to keep. We gotta fight coming to keep our country. You better see it. You better know it.
Is Obama going to come back under a national crisis or constitutional crisis or FEMA provisional government?
No. Obama. So what you're saying is Obama coming back?
Yeah.
No.
Can Barr stop the impeachment?
No. He cannot due to the separation of powers.
Okay. Because he's part of the.
Republicans in the Senate, they can't stop the impeachment. The only people that can stop the impeachment are members of the United States House of Representatives, to which they have a majority.
Well, and at some point.
That's why, by the way, so that you know, that's why they don't really want the impeachment to actually go through presently, because if it goes through presently, it could end up, the trial would be in the Senate, and the Senate's controlled by the Democrats, and it would end there. So their goal is to use the impeachment impeachment process, be in the middle of the impeachment process during the campaign, and hope that that impeachment process causes the Republicans to lose not just the House, lose the Senate as well. But then there won't be a Senate trial, because if that happens, Trump will be defeated and he won't be president anymore. So it won't matter anyway. That's why I'm telling you, the whole talk of impeachment is just a campaign tool. It's not legitimate in any way. Not in any way. It's a campaign tool. But it's a very vicious campaign tool. Very vicious. And the Democrats believe, yet to prove that they're not right, they believe that no president sitting could possibly be reelected if during his campaign for reelection he's in the middle of being impeached. And they are right, except for one thing. This is not a traditional campaign. That would work in a traditional scenario when you had 40% Democrat, 40% Republicans, and 20% swing voters who don't care. Then the impeachment would weigh heavily on that 20%, especially when they're totally controlled by the media. All they'll ever hear is that of the media, the mainstream. But you see, this campaign didn't set up like that. This campaign's about your bases. Anything else? The soft base is what this campaign's about. Mary Ellen, if we have no more questions, in the interest of saving my total lungs,
Yeah.
we're going to call it a little early. If y'all will help me, and we need your support. Mary, if you're listening, if you could help again, it would be much, much appreciated. And folks, any of you, I will stay here doing this program as long as I can. If you want to help, please go to PayPal now. Nichols live at AOL.com. Nichols live at AOL.com. Mary Ellen, anything from you in closing?
Yeah, if anybody is not able to do PayPal but can help, send a text to 240-499-6729. I'll help you talk through some alternative. If we can find one, we will figure out a way to solve it. Thank you very much.
All right, guys. Tomorrow I'll try to be with Jason. So I'll be with Jason again tomorrow. The same time. So folks, with that, stay the course. Believe in your country. Believe in your way of life and fight for it. Have a good day.
Thanks, Larry.